I think with a great mentality and playing so well. We made it, but we reacted so well, and obviously with the atmosphere that we are playing in front of with our supporters, it made that comeback much easier.
It's just a feeling we have, we're all so hungry to win and win each game, and yeah, we're going to continue like this for the whole season.
They scored 2 goals, one really lucky goal with a deflection, and after the second goal, they didn't know how they scored that goal. Bad luck for us clear this evening. I hope the way we are working, that luck will come in soon, because we worked to get it.
The winning goal was VAR checked. Do you think it should have stood?
I was arguing with the referee, but I just saw the goal, and yeah, it was my mistake. It's a clean goal, and yeah, the referee give the goal. It's a right decision.
Big boost. Obviously, winning like this as well is really nice. When you feel that adversity during the match, after controlling the game and being on top of it, just hoping that it was a matter of time. Suddenly we made a mistake, big mistakes, and they punished us, but then how we reacted against adversity, the connection again with those supporters, the atmosphere that we created, the way we went about it, the mentality that we showed. For the first one, Gavi, the way he played after that mistake, and the team believed, the team wanted to win the match. We went for it, and we managed to do it.
Saves us doing the analysis on that one.
Yeah,
the first time this season that Arsenal have been behind, Ian, and well, Fulham played excellently. That's worth stating that for a start. But it was a really good comeback from Arsenal, and I think Arteta talked about their mindset and how strong they are, and I think it was epitomised by Martin Odegaard,
Absolutely
their captain, wasn't it?
Yeah, the captain led by example today, pressing, he's passing. You know what I mean? His composure, he's finding space. He's done words like, what's this, 3 goals now in 3 games? Many as in the last 24, gifted, but that is a fantastic pass. And you can see people like Xhaka getting more forward. He's getting more forward. This is the kind of stuff they're doing now. Great ball to Xhaka, so you can stretch a team. And then what you're getting now is people rushing forward, getting themselves forward. You can see him there, slowly getting himself involved. Once he gets on the edge of the box, it's that pass there, the quality pass. Saka maybe should do better with that chance. Same with this one. This is brilliant as well. Gets the ball, cuts inside. You can see how many players, again, look, how many players. Xhaka in the box, Martinelli in the box, Saka in the box. Great touch there. Right in that number 10 area, making things happen, keeping it going for the boys. And then I think maybe he overs that and he gets the same kind of goal as he got against Bournemouth, but Jesus maybe doesn't quite see him. This is when it was 1-0, closing down, winning the ball back, and then into areas. Passing the ball into areas where you can go and hurt them, go and hurt the opposition. And that's what he was doing again today, and this is the goal. Great play again, Arsenal passing it through. Look at the amount of bodies they've got in the box. No, the manager said it was fortunate, but Arsenal deserved that with the way that they kept going. Great skill here. Bam, bam. And then, super switch. Fantastic play. This is Eddie. I think Eddie's got to Ed that first time or volley it in. And then that was when it was 1-1 as well. It was a brilliant performance from him. Great mentality shown by the boys. Fulham done very well, but I think in the end Arsenal just deserved it.
What baffles me a little bit is how have Real Madrid let him slip away when they've got Modric and Kroos who are really near the end of their career. It's a strange one because he's so clear, isn't he? Arteta, 100 Premier League games in charge of Arsenal, and look at the improvement in points.
Yeah.
And you can see they're definitely heading in the right direction. Really impressive, no?
Brilliantly impressive. I hate to say it, but they're happy again.
Don't hate, baby.
The fans are happy again.
Yeah. The fans should be happy.
They've been through a lot of stuff, I think, over the last couple of years. Yeah. And when I say they're happy, that is down to Mikel Arteta. It's down to what he's created, the culture at the football club. He's made some big decisions, getting rid of people like Aubameyang. And bringing through the young players as well. You can see what they're doing. The identity's there. They're on the up. I'm not sure they'd have won this game last year. So, playing really well.
OK.
Well, it was a milestone match for Mikel Arteta, his 100th Premier League game in charge of Arsenal, and his team mark it with a win. They continue their 100% start to this season. Were you impressed?
I was, and I have been impressed. I've been impressed with how this Arsenal team has started this season. and they've carried it on today. 4 wins out of 4. I think, you know, he's certainly starting to look like he's building an Arsenal team that he's wanted. It's taken a while for him to get there, and I think he's got players now buying into his philosophy and delivering in the way that he wants them to deliver. And look, he's got the fans and everybody on board now, and I think that's really important for this team going forward.
They showed character, didn't they, Mo? Especially with the late winner from Gabriel after making that earlier mistake as well.
Yeah, and late goals aren't coincidence. You know, you see some of the great teams over the years, they do on a regular basis. If you've got that togetherness, that belief, that never say die attitude, the fans with you, then things like this happen. Gabriel needs an awful lot of credit because he did make a big mistake for the goal. But to go to the other end and make amends like he did, be really in that danger zone and tapping it in, it's a huge goal for them. And confidence, but by the day now you just feel this team is growing, this club is getting back, jumping the celebration. No, it has been really good, and of course he knows the players well from his time at Manchester City. He's trying to play. There he is. There we go. The steward. That was the best bit of the day. I think she said, "Am I supposed to be grabbing this guy?" And then she realised it was a player. Oh. But you can see the Fulham fans, Fulham players were clinging on, hoping it was going to be a foul, but it never was. But no, going back to the signings, you know, Mikel Arteta knows them from Manchester City. He's trying to implement a similar playing style to Manchester City here at Arsenal. So, no, I think it was a good recruitment. They paid plenty of money, but they're getting their rewards already.
They certainly are, and Arsenal fans can be happy after a long time because we spent many seasons criticising them, but now they're in a good place.
This is, you know, meant to be. I know, you know, we know where to be when such and such gets the ball. We know the philosophy. We know where we want to go eventually. So I think it is a match made in heaven in many ways. Good recruitment, experience of the Premier League, experience of the style of football that they want, and as Farah says, real leaders, winners. You know, been in a dressing room that win, and you can't have enough of those if you want to get to the top.
And actually, Mo, take us into the mentality of a striker for a moment, because the likes of Jesus, he wasn't played in that traditional number 9 slot at Manchester City. Now he's the focal point. Now his teammates are relying on him. The manager believes in him. Do you think that confidence is why we're seeing him excel at Arsenal?
And the majority of players, I do think that if you feel like I'm the person now that they're really building a team round, then I think most people grow into that. Most people enjoy it, love it, want the responsibility. Some people can cower away and they, you know, they're not maybe necessarily in important positions. So I think that responsibility that he's been given by Arteta is a really good thing. He's the number 9. You're going to play all the time. We back you. We're not going to put you on the right wing and this, that and the other. So I think it's all very, very exciting at the moment. And yeah, as I say, Arsenal fans will be very excited themselves.
Exciting times ahead indeed. Well, my thanks to Mo Farah. I've been waiting to say that for the whole of the show. Thanks for your company. 25 goals scored across today. It's been a fantastic day of action. That was brilliant. Mo, you scored a few late goals in your career. Must be a great feeling.
The best feeling in the world, because obviously the opposition get no time whatsoever to hit back at you. So yeah, I mean, just I think the place. I don't think it's not necessarily a coincidence that happened today. I think it was mentioned there in the interview. I just feel that the players, the fans, there's something quite special now. It's felt like quite a sour place for a few years. It's felt like the fans don't really like the players and vice versa, and you've had all, you know, bit of petulance between captains and fans and throwing shirts here and there, and it's felt from the outside it's been quite a sour place, but it just feels now there's the real bond again, and the players look as if they're a unit as well. So I'd be excited if I was an Arsenal fan. Do you think we're finally now seeing Mikel Arteta's team? It's taken him a while to get there, hasn't it?
I think so. I think it does take time. When you have a philosophy and a style that you want to play, in order to allow that to happen, you need the right players, profiling of players, and he probably didn't there. And he was trying to get rid of players and trying to create the right environment. And I think that he's got that, or he's close to getting that now. And the players have bought into what he wants to do. And you can see that, as Michael says there, with the team today. You haven't seen an Arsenal team when a player goes down from a foul, they get round him and they're together and they're picking him up. And yeah, it looked ugly at times, you know, and the referee had to get involved. But we haven't seen an Arsenal team that have backed their teammates up as much as they did today. And it is, as an Arsenal fan, it's really good to see. And as you mentioned, are they onto something special? They could be.
They could be, because they're unbeaten so far this Premier League season. They have had the perfect start, but they didn't have the perfect start in this game, did they? Because it was Mitrovic that got Fulham off the mark, and again delivering what he has done best this season.
Yeah, I mean, fair play to Fulham. They tried to pen them in from that throw in, and look how many bodies you can see in that picture of white shirts. I mean, so they've done their homework. They wanted to nick the ball off them, and they did. I just feel that this is almost Pep Guardiola-esque, isn't it? The midfield player. Look at Tierney in the centre there. That's the left back. That's standard now. That's where a normal left back would stand. But of course, Pep Guardiola, Mikel Arteta, they're cut from the same cloth, aren't they? And they like their full-backs actually coming in and outnumbering. But as much as I don't disagree with that, I do think that you've got to be in secure possession of the ball before you're going to start venturing in. Because when the ball comes to Gabriel there, he's got no outlet, he can't pass anywhere. And all of a sudden, because he takes a bad touch, he can't get himself out of it. Mitrovic robs him. Great finish, you know, and it was a good goal from Fulham's point of view. But as I say, fine with the principle of it, but be in control of possession before you start, you know, putting players in that. Because as I say, he had no outlet whatsoever once we took his first touch.
I think as well, because you know the flight of the ball, so it's in the air. That gives Mitrovic a chance to go and put aggressive pressure on until it comes down. So Tierney should really recognise that. And as Michael said, he should be in a left back position in order for him to get that, because he's got no out, as you mentioned there. And then you know Mitrovic is strong, aggressive, gets all over him, and a tidy finish in the end.
He's only doing what the other midfield player's doing anyway. Tierney's literally stood 5 yards in front of him, so it's not like he's offering a different option. There's already that option into midfield anyway. So, yeah, I get it, and we've seen it, and we see Pep Guardiola's team doing it on a regular basis, and I'm intrigued by it, and I like it. But it has to be in secure possession of the ball before you start wandering in there. You have to have options.
Well, it wasn't too long. It was actually 8 minutes until Odegaard actually replied and levelled the score. He has been great for this Arsenal side, hasn't he? 2 goals last weekend and now a goal today.
He has, and he was causing problems all afternoon. And you can see him in these pockets. He was in them. When we said in the first half, he was finding it hard to get on the ball. And here he finds himself in a really tight space, but takes the ball really well. We mentioned in the first half about just stretching. If you look at Jesus, he's running behind. I think that just drags the defender slightly, which just gives Odegaard enough space for somebody of his quality to open himself up and get that shot away. Slight deflection, but a fantastic finish for Arsenal and Odegaard. But he was consistent in those pockets all afternoon for Arsenal, and it was only a matter of time before something happened for him. And yes, there was a bit of luck with it, but I think that you get your own luck. And because he was, as I said, because he was consistent and getting in between those lines, I think he deserved that goal in the end.
It's those players that can play in those short spaces, they're the real class acts. Anyone can play with loads of space, anybody. But you see there, but you see in tight situations there, he gets played the ball and there's still 3 or 4 players, and he throws his leg over just to create another inch of space. And obviously, it almost, once you throw your leg over, you then can push off your right foot and then bang with your left foot. I mean, it's class. It's pure class, being able to work in tight areas like that, and he can do it. And as Farah said in the first half, it's for Arsenal to create those spaces in between the lines, to get their magic players like that playing, because there was just not enough space in the first half. But that was then created, and then the little magician came up with the goal.
And then, after the mistake that we saw from Gabriel earlier on in the match, he then redeemed himself and snatched a very late winner.
He did, and it come from the delivery. Martinelli's deliveries today from set pieces wasn't great, and he actually puts it, they were all going quite far and lofted, but this one's just right in the mixer, right in that near post area where it makes the keeper have to make a decision. And we see him there, he's got to get over bodies, misses the punch, and it falls nicely to Gabriel, and look, he'll be pleased with that, given the mistake for the first goal, that he can put it away.
Yeah, it's just a brilliant area to hit it in. As you say, goalkeeper's got 2 options: you stay at home, or you come and try to punch. But if you're going to come and try to punch, you've got to go through bodies, and that's what he had to do. And of course, they were going to always try to say there was a foul, there was a blocking, there was grappling or whatever, but it was just put in a really dangerous area, and that was his best corner kick. 2 of them early in the second half. I was screaming at the television, wasn't I? Keeps floating. It was goalkeeper catching practice at the back post. First half he curls one that hits the top of the bar, gets a new from the crowd, but it's a poor corner. It's not what you're trying to do. So it was poor delivery, even though he had a good game. It was poor delivery on a lot of those corners, but that was the one that he put it in a really dangerous areas, and that bore fruit.
And actually, what we've seen now is a reaction from Arsenal. They've shown character, and in previous seasons we've criticised them for being behind in a game and not being able to come back. But today they have shown that character.
Yeah, they did. You heard Gabriel, that was interesting in the interview there. He said his head went. And last season when his head had gone, when he made mistakes, he made a lot of mistakes last season. When his head went, he couldn't get back into the game. And you heard him say in the interview there, he was able to find positive, maybe it was his touches that he had after or won a tackle. And his teammates got around him. And you could see that support from the teammates. I think that because they've started the season like they did last year, this game might have finished differently. But I think they're on a buzz. And as we keep mentioning, something's happening with this Arsenal team and Arteta. And you can see that today.
And the feeling, I mentioned it before, but the feeling around the crowd as well. In the previous seasons, they did, yeah. If you make a mistake like that, you just felt there was the disconnect. But even, you're right in what you say in terms of the players rallied round, but the crowd were really there right till the end with them as well. And that, you can't over-egg how much of a difference it is when you've got the crowd with you as well. I mean, you're almost unbeatable at home if you've got that good balance.
Fulham were in the top flight, and that was a couple of seasons ago. Now he's surpassed that tally with 4 already. What is the difference? What's the main difference between the Mitrovic we saw then and the Mitrovic we're seeing now?
Play into people's strengths is the absolute be-all and end-all for a centre-forward. At the end of the day, your centre-forward is really your focal point. That's what you're playing through your stages of your team to really get the best out of your centre-forward, to score a goal at the end of it. And you've got to play to the strengths of those attacking players. So if you've got a big lad that's strong, that's not very fast, well, you're not going to play counter-attacking football. You're going to play to their strengths. And vice versa, if you've got quick players up front, you might play counter-attacking. We've seen Manchester United doing that really well against Liverpool the other day. It just depends what you've got up front. So there's no point I've often watched the likes of Benteke. How can you score so many goals for it and then go to a team and you can't, but that team don't cross the ball, it's all about, making sure you get the best out of your team. And I think Fulham realise that they've got a player there that can score plenty of goals if you feed him the right ammunition. And if you do it, then he's proven in different leagues and now in the Premier League that he can do that. So, if he's in your team, you have to play in a certain way, or don't even play him. Because if you're going to play, as I say, a speed game, a counter-attacking game, then he's just not your man. So they realise that, and I think if they keep doing that, they'll get the best out of him.
And surely we have to credit as well the likes of Marco Silva, because this team have come along this Premier League season. They've taken a point off of Liverpool, Wolves. They've beaten Brentford. They're now, they gave Arsenal a tough time. They were unlucky in some places to not come away with something from this game. So it feels like the team as a whole, and Marco Silva, has also learned a lot from previous experiences in the Premier League.
Yeah, most definitely. They would have learned from being in the Premier League before and coming in really naive into the league. I think what has been most impressive for me about Fulham is the way that they've been able to adapt their style. And whether that be starting against Liverpool and not playing out of the back, from the back, knowing that Liverpool can play with a high press. They then go to Brentford and they play out. And you see them today mix it up at times. When Arsenal sat off, because Arsenal can press, and they've showed that this year, they played out. When Arsenal had players a little bit higher, they went long. So they were just mixing up the game. It makes it hard for opposition. But as we said, in all of this, whether they go long or whether they're playing out, it's all to suit Mitrovic and players around him. And they get players around him, whether they're playing out or whether they're direct into him. And that's why they're getting the best out of him.